urban planning is?
So changing the world, you're thinking really big. That's good. Okay.
How about,
I think Julian has that.
Maybe urban planning, to like plan and do big projects and take a part in helping the world.
That's good. That's good too.
okay.
What else? What's your name?
Isaiah.
Isaiah.
I think urban planning is kind of like how you plan like populated areas, like what type of building you put in there, like trees, like and like what we're doing, like gas stations. That's for urban areas, like the design.
Yeah, that's good too. Anyone else wanna add? Think I say your hand up? You mean Did you have your hand up? Oh, okay. What's your name? Jacob.
What was it again? Like urban planning was it?
Yeah, the technical term is called urban and regional planning, but we usually refer to it as urban planning.
Okay. I think urban planning is like focusing on people that don't have a lot of help in places. And what I heard you say, like when you started the class, you said you had a student that was sleeping on the couch.
That was me.
No, that was another student.
Oh, yeah, that's another one.
someone-
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
But you wanted to make him more comfortable and make him comfortable in another, in a better place to live.
Good job, Jacob. Yeah, so the answer is yes to all of that, right? Urban and regional planning could be something as small as like working on like a house, or bigger like a gas station, or even bigger like Bow Heights, East LA, or even bigger like all of Los Angeles County, or even bigger like looking at all of the Northwest, about growth. I like what I do because it's personal to me, and the main reason that I'm doing it is to help people. But what's great about urban planning is that it's an actual skill set that you learn. So you go to school for it, and what we deal with is looking at usually like building codes or municipal codes. Not like science codes, but it's a lot of written words that are law, and so you have to look at like, how am I gonna build something, or what rights do I have to build it? And if I don't wanna fit my box into this, then like what can I do with the site? So you're right, it has to do with trees, right? It has to do with like anything in and around an actual space. Like this school wasn't just drawn out by somebody, right? Somebody sat down, like engineers, architects, and developers, and construction people. They all sat down and said, all right, like how do we make this building design work? And what are we able to build by right, or what do we need to like look at how we can change in order for it to work? That's inside of a box. But looking outside of a box, it can also mean like, let's think about the people that get here, right? I know in the morning, the drop-off area is like chaotic, right? But in the past, it wasn't engineered that way, right? What would have been great is if they would have cut out a piece of the sidewalk to allow people to drive in, drop the kid off safely, and be on their way, right? But that's not how it works. And the whole reason I'm bringing up that example is to tell you, when people built this community, they didn't really have our people in mind, but they also didn't have like cars in mind, right? And so now the work that we're doing is trying to make it work with what exists, but also like what could be. And that's why I like doing the work that I do, because it's a lot of like, what could be. When I said it was boring, parts of it are boring because people come to us and they want to build a big building, which is fine for some, but like I told you, my focus is more about working with the people, making sure that they have like an understanding of how the planning that took place before in this community in particular hasn't always been beneficial for the people that actually live here. Everybody knows the freeway, right? That cuts right through Hollenbeck Park, right? That wasn't done like with people in mind. It was done against our community, against this community in particular. They didn't do it because they said, yeah, like the people asked for it. No, they just said, you know what? There's not that many people here, has brown people, so let's just go ahead and put the freeway right through there, right? But who can tell me like what's one of the biggest environmental factors of what that freeway causes?
What was it? I don't know.
It's okay, Dave. So think about it, if somebody put a freeway on there and there's a lot of cars driving in. and out of that
Everybody
area-
should know the answer to this. Everyone should know the answer.
Carbon, there's too much carbon going in to the park, so I think it's getting like carbon, like, it's just getting probably overloaded in the park.
That's good. You have your hand up, what's your name? Danny, what is it? Dan.
It can cause lung diseases.
Lung diseases, right?
Yeah.
What else? What does lung disease cause, right? Cancer, right? What does that mean?
Death.
What can it sometimes mean? Sometimes mean death, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the air pollution causes a lot of illnesses. I myself have asthma and my mom has cancer. So, and those things have a higher, you're more likely to develop them in poorer communities where there's more pollution.
Exactly. The other example is the Exide plant where the batteries are. Does everybody know what's going on with that? Right? Some planner decided to allow a battery plant to operate on the outskirts of Boyle Heights community, and nobody was really watching what was happening to how that waste from the battery was being removed. And so the chemicals in that battery was sinking into the dirt and the water that flows back into this community. So what do you think it's causing to the people that live around there? The same thing, right? And so that's why I wanted to go into planning to say, you know what, there needs to be another way, or at least there needs to be better representation of people that care about that community, that know about that community, that wanna do something right. That's why I was doing the work in mostly like South Central and East LA and even in the harbor. So I bring up that example to tell you like that's what planning can mean. It can mean something technical, but it could also mean something personal. But at the end of the day, it's about how this environment around you impacts your quality of life.
So just to clarify, that's what the project is about, right? It's not just the gasoline stations. It's how is this community, how does it have to look for 2025, 35? Like, look at what we have here or anywhere and what needs to be there so we could support zero emission vehicles. And something that we haven't talked about, that Mr. Garcia just talked about, is that unfortunately batteries, what are we gonna do with waste in batteries too? Like, do we need to have a system right there? That might be a little too much for our project now, but that's something important to think about. So you guys are gonna be, you kind of like urban planners. What do we need to support a zero emission community with zero emission vehicles? Because right now we don't have it, right? Right now that we don't have it, or you think we have it, Daniel? Do we have are we supporting zero emission cars right now?
Not really,
Why not?
because it affects people and it don't help them.
Yeah, but what could you tell me that it's hard for people with zero emission cars to do? So what do you think, Kaylee? What is it hard for zero emission cars to do right now?
Like it's hard because people's mindsets are like using gas cars and not thinking about electrical cars.
Okay, so if your parents had an electrical car, what will be hard around here to do? Diana?
It's hard to charge.
Hard to charge them, right? Why is that, Emmanuel? Why is it hard to charge the cars here?
Because there's not a lot of charging places around here,
No, but there's a lot of what?
gas stations.
Gas stations. So we have to plan, hey, what are we gonna do, right? And we can't just use gas stations. Why can't we just use gas stations and change it to other things? What's the problem with too many gas stations? What will they have? What do we have to do first? Emmanuel?
Oh, to take out like the tanks below?
Yeah, the pollution, right? There might be like leaks. We got to make sure that it's safe for whatever else we're going to use it for. That people are not going to like start building houses there and then like people could get sick.
In urban planning, that term is called a brownfield. It basically means when it's not easy to build, you have to, the process to get those tanks is expensive, and you have to get through all the clearances that all these people that work in environmental have to make sure it's safe enough to remove, which again takes a lot of time and money to do it. And there's brownfields all over California. And another thing that we do in planning right now is we are starting to consult with tribes, people of indigenous backgrounds, to consult with them to figure out, okay, you know how often people find like skeletons and like other stuff in the dirt? It's pretty often. When that happens, the construction crew has to stop, and these special folks have to come in, and then they have to like remediate